when I am gone.
We got no regrets. What's the plan? GSTL.
Don't get in my way now.
Welcome back to the GSTL. Rain putting that point on the scoreboard for Fnatic with a crazy Reaper build. And now we've got, of course, the next player for NSHosa. The map of choice is Ohana.
Yeah, we have Brave and a Protoss player now up against Rain. And Rain's win was needed. Salvation was a little bit on the run here against Moon, against Jay. And now we have Brave, next player for the NSHosa team.
And Rain not even really showing any strategy so far, just playing a really cool Reaper all in. And now the next phase here is a different matchup entirely. Brave only playing one game, similar to Salvation, and he lost it. So we'll see if he can do a better job here against the Fnatic Terran.
Pretty interesting is also that we just got some insights about Rain. He was actually supposed to take down another player of the lineup. He was supposed to take down Scout later on, and well, right now they decided to use him against Salvation, and for good reason that is.
Yeah, and this is sometimes what you have to do when things don't go according to plan. You have to switch things up because, yeah, it's the same race, so just pick the map, do it earlier, and that's how it goes.
And of course, with Antigua gone, this also helps the remaining Zerg players in the Fnatic lineup. This helps Bial a lot. Departure, of course, would be another choice, another Zerg player that we have in the active roster,
yeah.
but I don't really think that we are going to see him today.
He's got some nerve issues, Swanee talks about that.
Yeah.
So much so, he and Ares just have not been used in Team League because he's scared that if he uses them, they're going to maybe mess up or get nervous, even though they're quite good. And Fnatic has never had this moment where, you know, IM is notorious for this, sending out a lesser experienced player just to get them the experience when you're ahead.
Yeah.
But Fnatic is not oftentimes in that position where they can just throw these players out like that.
Exactly, especially now they are still behind in the team match, so now Rain has to win another game if he wants to tie the series up, if we want to see a 2-2 here. On the other hand, Jagji is of course like the final boss that is still looming in the background and is still sitting on the bench. Yeah, and unfortunately, we talked about it earlier, we neither have Freaky nor Seal in the studio. They're both still listed on the active roster of NSHosa, but none of the strong Zerg players that carried the team the last season is actually here, which is really sad.
It's sad, and it's disheartening a little bit for the team, you know, when you've got some of your strong players out. You feel like a little bit lopsided. Yeah. And as mentioned before, with only 5 players here, there's not a lot of depth. Fnatic can look at that bench and say, alright, all I have to do is beat each and every one of you, and there's no mystery here. The order is the only thing that will change.
NSHosa is looking a little bit fragile, not only in the lineup today, but as a team these days.
Yeah.
I'm actually a little bit worried about them, to tell you the truth.
It's something that you should be. It's a university team, and it's a team that doesn't have big name sponsors to ride on. So if things continue in this way, like the team may fall apart. That's left to be unseen. They may have players that are not on their roster that are training right now that we don't even know about, but. Yeah, they look really fragile. You're exactly right. I think that's a good word for it.
So right now we're just waiting for the next game. We have Brave not in the lobby just yet. We're currently waiting for the player. And let's not forget that at this point, of course, NSHosa is still ahead. But we still have pretty hard hitters on the Fnatic bench, and the only player that is really there with a big name for NSHosa is Jagji. Of course, you also have Tacita, but still, when it comes down to the results so far, the only player besides Salvation that we've seen today that was able to secure points against LGIM, for example, was Jagji. So let's see how he's going to do later on. And this is once again one of these times when a lot of the hopes of NSHosa is on Jagji's shoulder.
He's really got to pull through, I feel. Still surprised that we don't have Brave in the lobby yet. He's probably making sure he does not pull a Moon here, make sure he's got all the right hotkeys. And now he's coming. He's pending.
He's being invited just now. Everyone's waiting for him.
Everybody's waiting. Oh, he's in. He's in the lobby.
Brave in the lobby. Ohana is going to be the map in the first Protoss versus Terran that we have today. This is like... yeah, I think after this we only have a couple of mirror matches left.
Yeah. And looks like Rain is ready. He's confirmed this in the chat, as is Brave. So I think we're going to start the countdown pretty soon. This is a very important match, of course, for Fnatic, because even though Rain put them on the scoreboard, he really needs to push through more points here.
The game about to start, as you can see. The 2 players are ready to go. The GSTL, the Fnatic against NSHosa, Rain against Brave, starting right now. to the top left, we have the NS Sosa player. This time it's the opening player from the last team match. Against LGIM, he lost versus first. Here we have
NS Sosa, brave!
up against the Terran this time, not playing in a Protoss Mirror. With his red keyboard.
Yeah, quite red.
Starting at the bottom right. Currently have the Terran player for Fnatic. His ideas.
Fnatic late call, lane!
I want to call him the Big Cheese.
He does cheese quite often, he's known for that.
And he's really successful with it.
Yeah, he's quite good at it.
We need a best of 9 show match between Hart and Rain in order to determine who is worthy of the nickname the Big Cheese.
Yeah, that's actually... that could happen, man. We could make that happen if we wanted to. We actually could, man. I'm starting to think about this and I'm like, well, that would be a really interesting
There's only one rule. You're not allowed to build a command center.
Well, this is Ohana, by the way, which means family. So, you know, while we have our billows unfolding, take a moment, maybe message your sister on Facebook or, you know, look up your grandma's address, maybe send her a postcard or something. Let her know how you're feeling. You haven't talked to her in a while. Just think about that for a moment as our billows unfold. Now, the second pylon is placed to the bottom here, and this means that if the SV doesn't see that, he's gonna check around for proxy. So, I mean, this is a minor thing, but because that pylon's at the bottom and he doesn't check for that, he might get a little bit scared. As he's going no gas, he's going to be going for a 1-rack suspend here.
Yeah, going to play it pretty safe, pretty standard here on Ohana. And on the other hand, of course, what we can expect from Brave here is also a 1 gate into Nexus. And then the question is how he's going to follow it up. If he will build the 2 gateways right away, or we will actually see.
It's a trick, Caldor.
It's a trap.
Double gas as the probe leaves, and this is funny because he didn't wall the probe in intentionally, so the probe would leave, and the SCV spots the pylon, so he knows everything, where he would want to scan later on, where things are vulnerable, and the Nexus he will see as well. Every information is known to the Terran player, and he's actually making that Nexus really quick, because he thinks it's going to be a 1-rack expand.
Forget the show match. The answer is right there in front of us. It is the Big Cheese playing for Fnatic, and I love the fake out. I really love it. These are the strategies that you see happening a lot more often these days. It's the mind games, and it was so well done. Faking out his opponent here, and of course with what he has seen so far, Brave has to assume that there is a 1 barracks into expand. Even the bunker is being placed now in order to fake out his opponent, and at the same time in the main base already the factory building, and Brave has no idea.
And this is such a weird build so far. It's likely going to be this 2 racks tank push that we've seen, for example, Bjorn and Marine King do every now and then. He's got the bunker at the top of the ramp, as mentioned, to make the probe think, oh, okay, yeah, definitely an expansion, as I thought. And Brave cut some corners trying to get his next out. Now, in some ways, that's a little bit riskier, considering that he did do a tricky build, but other ways, because this is not a very fast attack that we're going to see from Rain, he is going to have a lot more time to actually get the money from that Nexus, so if he doesn't hold the Nexus, it'll still have paid off way more than 400 minerals, very likely.
The Stalker's trying to poke in here a little bit and see if there's really going to be a command center, but he can't get through because there is the bunker, there are the Marines, and he pulls back right away. But yeah, he has no clue at this point in time what's going on. And with him starting the double gateway, he will have, of course, the robotics fairly late, and therefore no observer that can actually confirm that there is an expansion. The observer will be way too late. Right now the robotics has been started, but still, never going to be in time.
Definitely not. And what's really interesting is that he's starting siege tanks, but he's also getting his starport, so he's going to probably make some medevacs with this, and he's getting stim very early on here. This is going to be a type of push that is rare, but arguably more dangerous than just your regular Marine tank Banshee push, because he's expecting one thing, he's going to see something else for one, but this push is stronger. It's later, but it's stronger. It's going to have stim. You imagine that tank Marine push with stim on those Marines? That's something you don't want to face as a Protoss if you don't have any Colossi out.
You know, I'm just imagining Brave sitting in his booth, playing his style, waiting for this macro game to happen. He thinks his opponent has this expansion, and now at some point, Rain will move out. Rain will move out and will show his cards, and suddenly Brave will just sit there and will be like, oh my god, how did that happen?
Yeah, he's going to get totally blindsided by this strategy. He's even hiding the medevac on the high ground just to make sure it cannot be seen.
And so far he hasn't seen any tanks. Just imagine what's going to happen if those Marines are actually able to catch the Stalker and deny Brave the visual and the early detection. He's going for a Forge here, and he's going for all these things that in this situation he just can't afford.
Yeah. The Forge could be useful for cannons, but with this many siege tanks coming, it's gonna be scary. Now he's hiding the siege tanks actually in the medevac, which means that the siege tanks are not seen. Well, means he's not gonna make. Okay, now he shows them. He can actually catch the Stalker with this.
Wow.
Really cool.
That was really, really well done. And now suddenly Brave is in the know. He immediately starts his Immortal. He has the Twilight on his way as well. The SCVs are being pulled. Here comes the Pain Train.
These sentries are not going to be very useful against siege tank fire. And, you know, showing the siege tanks is a cool choice because he almost killed the Stalker, but the Immortal, as you mentioned, is now on the way. So he's got a little bit of time to try to prepare. He will have one set of force fields for the tank siege. That's all he's going to have, though.
He can siege up in just a second. Now it's done, and the upgrade is done. He can siege up, and he does. And those Stalkers are in trouble. The Medivac helps to actually repair. He moves in, trying to take down the few sentries that are left for his opponent. Will Brave be able to defend here? He has the supply advantage, but he has so much worker supply. 50 to 31 harvester supply, and the siege tanks, they just crawl forward, mercilessly trying to put pressure onto the expansion.
Yeah, and he's getting pretty low on that medevac. The Immortal falls instantly, and there's no way to hold without that Immortal. He cannot hold this. He is just going to die.
There's nothing left.
Probes are so desperate.
The probes are going to die, every single one of them. Those Immortals also have now, of course, charge of the ramp, and everything is just dying.
Yep.
NS Hosa Brave is falling down in supply. Fnatic Rain is in a brilliant position here. Stims in again, can take down the Immortal, and he does. There's nothing left to counter those siege tanks.
And all the probes will die as well here. GG.
Rain with a beautiful fake out against Brave. Everything worked well. He shows the probe of his opponent that he does not have gas. The probe leaves the base, and immediately Rain builds the double refinery, gets all this gas going, fakes the expansion, and then starts with a one base attack with the siege tanks. Very well timed out. Siege mode just ready when the tanks appear. Really well done.
Yeah, well deserved high fives all around him. And this puts us at 2-2, ties up the score. Exactly what Fnatic needed. And look at that smile on Tassadar, man. He's like, well, we have someone like you on our team as well, and it's me. It would be quite interesting to see Tassadar come out next. I think they'll try to save Tassadar. You know, if I'm the NS Hosa coach, I want to use Tassadar on someone like Alive, for example, where I don't want to fight him straight up. I want to try to use Tassadar and surprise him maybe a little bit, especially in PvT. Tassadar is pretty dangerous. Well, Rain has evened the score, and what do you do against this guy now?
Daybreak is our next map right now, and yeah, that's going to be really interesting what exactly the choice of the NS Hosa coach is going to be.
I could see Sculpt coming out here, actually.
Could be Sculpt. Last time they actually brought Jakchi out really early. Might be the case today. But someone has to step it up right now. Rain looking pretty strong with his one-base attacks that he had so far.
And since he's shown 2 one-base plays in a row, obviously he transitioned in the first game into multiple bases, but it was an aggressive all-in opener. So he's done this 2 games in a row. If Rain just totally switches up and goes Command Center first, for example, on Daybreak, which is totally viable, that could catch somebody off guard. So they have to really think hard about how they're going to approach this, which player. They've already chosen the map Daybreak. But the process of how to play this game is going to have to be so scary. It's going to be so risky, you know. Oh, okay, I scouted what he was doing last game, but then it was totally wrong. It was a trick. It was a weird build. And Rain knows that he's got into the team's head a little bit here, and that's a great position to be in.
And of course, if they would choose Sculpt, for example, they don't really know what we told you guys earlier. They have no idea that it was actually Rain who was kind of trained as a sniper against Sculpt and wanted to use the strategy. So if they actually choose Sculpt here, they would just play in the hands of Rain. Because Rain analyzed Sculpt's playstyle, so that would help him so much right now. That's probably exactly the player that he wants to face right now.
I think so. Let's find out, man. This is... Well, this is the time which normally the player is chosen, but we have a little bit more delay.
Exactly, and as soon as the Koreans wrap up their cast, we can find out who the next player is going to be. We only have 2 Terrans left and 1 Protoss, so no Zerg on the bench of NS Hosa. I think right now they would actually really love to have either Seal or Freaky sitting on the bench.
I think so, man. They're probably really... They might be texting Freaky right now. All right, who's it going to be? Tassar sitting very much so on the inside, so it doesn't look like it's going to be him.
No, not at all.
And, well, I'm like...
There we have him. Yep, that is something that Rain is definitely gonna like.
Yeah.
We have actually Sculp as the next play and another Terran versus Terran.
Rain's like, well, music, seriously? Music, it's not my birthday, actually. Thank you.
Like, thanks.
This is... I mean, things started off rough for Fnatic, but now they're getting everything the way they want it. Now, if you're Sculp here, you gotta be so careful because Rain might just all-in you again, but at the same time, if Rain takes a risk and you're playing too safe, if Rain's greedy here, then you also become behind. So you guys have to scout very carefully and very actively in this game. He needs to know exactly what Rain is doing as soon as possible.
Rain has a date. Let's go home.
Yeah.
Like, okay guys, no command centers today.
Do you think, I mean, obviously it's not Antigua, but it's possible for Rain to do another proxy build similar to the Reaper one he did on this map. It can be done.
Yeah, of course, on Daybreak we have a couple of positions where you can go for a proxy. We have this one position between the natural and the third base where you can go for proxy marauders.
Yeah.
At the same time, right next to your base, you can start proxying a factory and a starport. That's something that a lot of players have done in the past.
Yeah,
Really there are a lot of options.
Really tough to make Reapers work on this map because there's not a lot of jump up space. You have to go all the way to the natural to do that, so I think Reapers would be very unlikely. But, you know, if you're Rain here, you can also just command center first on a map of this size against someone who's going to have to play safe against you.
Rain goes to the Terran shop and he's like, okay guys, I would like to build an expansion. And they're like, I'm sorry, we're out of command centers. We don't have any right now. And he's like, well, that's fine. I'll just cheese again.
I'm sorry, you don't have a command center license, Rain. We're not sure if you know how to build these.
Rain is like, yeah, actually right, it's been a while.
And he's like, is the hotkey for that C or E? I'm not quite sure.
But the cool thing about the all-ins that Rain played so far is that they were really well thought out. Trying to fake his opponent out as well, and especially the Reaper attack on Antigua against, against Salvation. That was really something to watch. That's actually a game that you should recommend to other people.
Yeah, absolutely so. And
really interesting board.
It's a build that you guys should, you know, try to execute as well on the ladder. You know, no matter what level you're at, it's something that you could definitely try to pull off. It's a simple build. If you follow all the instructions, follow the recipe that Rain has made. Does he have another recipe for this map, though? The map is Daybreak. He planned on playing Sculp. See if Sculp can pull NS Hosa back into the lead here again at the GSTL cast by Powder Wolf.